All right, we're in Kukis. We're just about to leave. I'm wearing sunglasses because I grew up for 23 years in some of the harshest winters in Canada, and I came to Albania for one day and got snow blindness.
Look at it. Look at it.
It hurts so bad. Kukis has been good. Mount Crab was great. Other than all that, it's time to make like a banana and split. So we decided to climb Bobotov Kuk, which is a mountain that I think I was the most excited for the whole trip. It's a very steep and quick climb. It's about 4 kilometers. And the last kilometer is extremely steep and extremely treacherous. We failed our previous mountain, but that being said, we had a lot of confidence from how we performed physically on that mountain. So we were ready to get the summit and conquer our first mountain as a team.
We're in Montenegro, and we're going to climb Bobotov Kuk. Boba something. It's got Cook at the end. We're gonna go climb that, which is actually debated on if it's the highest mountain right now. Apparently it's not the highest mountain, but Montenegro and its official state recognizes it as the tallest mountain, but apparently it's like 11 meters short compared to some other one on the Albanian border. We couldn't decide which one we're gonna do, but Bobotov seems more dangerous, so we're going to do that.
We drive up there early that morning. We all have our backpacks packed. We're all ready to go. We had been driving for a couple of hours, and eventually, well, the road ends because it was covered in snow.
So we're not going to climb a mountain.
The entire road is blocked with snow, so we were gonna attempt it if we could at least get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the road situation's not looking great.
So when one door closes, another one opens. We decided to go for a bit of a tour around the country on the way to Bosnia. We started crossing this bridge, and the bridge was like on top of a gorge that was absolutely gorgeous. Michael, being as big brain as he is, he was like, all right, we'll fly the drone underneath the bridge.
Michael had been out there doing some really pathetic shots, and I took it upon myself that I probably should go out and help him if we actually want to have any quality content. And eventually we come to this old, rickety, very dangerous looking bridge. It was made out of cement, but it looked like it was about ready to collapse at any moment. And I was all like, this is it, new shot. We gotta get like the drone passing over the bridge, drone passing under the bridge while we're on the bridge, while we're driving across the bridge, any kind of variation with this bridge, because this bridge is looking real rough.
Decky's doing these great shots, and you know what? This has kind of changed the tune. Decky's in his mode. I'm like, Decky, what do you think of this shot? It really is a moment where Decky and I are going from two people to one mind. It's like man and woman becoming one flesh in the biblical term. Who knew that around the corner tragedy would strike?
And Michael comes to me, he says, I know the perfect shot. And I was like, oh yeah, what is this? So we had already been bouncing off of each other. It had been really a bonding experience. And he's all like, let's lower the drone all the way into the bottom of the valley, and then we'll rise up past the bridge and take it into the sky. And I was like, dude, that's gorgeous. I love it. I start lowering it down. It's going down right in the middle. It's looking great. We're lowering it, not going too fast. I'm being careful.
Then I noticed a little red flashing light on the screen saying no GPS. And I'm like, oh, Decky, no GPS, no GPS. And as a professional, fingers off, make sure we're not pushing anything. It was in the middle.
It lost GPS signal and decided to start ramming the side of the gorge at full velocity.
It was almost like we were watching it and it was doing it on purpose.
Wait, do we still have the footage at least? Or is it in the drone? All right, so we've lost the drone.
So we were looking down here. We wanted to get the drone low, and we drove it low, and then GPS signal disconnected, and it flew off into a wall.
Mission to save the drone!
Sometimes Icarus flies too close to the sun. Sometimes his wax wings melt. And in this case, we fell.
Because it was down the bottom of this gorge, there was a raging rapid down there. We had to go down and try and find it. Now, luckily, we could see the camera still when it crashed, and it was on top of a rock. So we knew we could get it. We just had to get to it. We drove all the way down to this camping ground car park, and then we decided to walk down this river.
Decky opens the door and takes off instantly because he wants to retrieve this drone more than anyone. He was the one flying it, so he doesn't want to be held accountable for a lost drone. So I jump out of the car and start running right after Decky.
That's the bridge we were on! We lost Pesterly's drone! He's very upset!
If you had to imagine the drone is?
Under the bridge to the right.
To the right.
Maybe 10 meters past the bridge.
Okay, I don't think we want to go up anymore. So right now, down there is our best option unless we cross the river.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna go in the water. This is my call. I take off pretty much everything from the bottom half except for my underwear because I think Paul's trying to get across the water without getting wet. So I start trudging through and oh my God, this is some of the coldest water I've ever walked in.
Michael, where are your pants?
Decky was the one that crashed it. He's sitting up there just watching like a good Decky. Always up for adventure, that lad. until he has to do anything.
Eventually we get the drone back. Doesn't look great. Most of the blades are done. There's a crack. The gimbal's stuffed.
The drone has been retrieved. Apart from the fact that it should have been me down there because I'm the one that actually lost the drone.
I made sure that people knew that if someone makes a mistake, penance must be paid. So I actually got everyone to strip down into their jocks and go for a nice cold plunge.
Oh! Yeah! Yeah!
3, 2, 1, before death!
We jumped in and my oh my, what an invigorating feeling. What a time to be alive. Even Paul afterwards stripped down to his underwear. What a sight to see.
Woo! Oh yeah. Really getting it up there. Look at that. The man is determined.
You know, like the statue of David, where it's quite all there? That's how I felt when Paul walked into the water.
Now walk back out just the same.
Yes!
That is a stout little man.
That's the drone incident. Who can say whose fault it was? Perhaps it was Paul's fault for suggesting that we fly to Europe and try capture content.
We're just about to leave Montenegro and we stop at the last town before the border.
And we saw that there was a giant like steel cable going across the actual whole lakeside area
there. And when we were turning around to stop there, we see a sign and it says giant zip line. And I was like, oh God.
I'm all for it. I'm like, this looks awesome. This looks great.
Here we have an exquisite man getting ready for intimate doom.
I just want to know, like, is this one of those things where are we doing this by ourselves down the zip line, or are we actually having someone assist us?
He'll push us.
It sounds very much like we're doing it by ourselves.
Let's ask the guy that speaks English, what are we supposed to do once we get over there?
You need to go up first.
Yeah, but what do we do when we get over there?
No, Jared, you need to let
Jared, it's Decky first.
Decky first.
What do we do once we get over there?
Who's the guy at the top?
I don't know. Hey, look, I haven't paid. They have to make us survive to get the money.
We climb to the top of the zip line and it looks a lot steeper than I anticipated. And I start getting a little bit nervous at this point. And I also get nervous when the people giving us directions and instructions do not speak any English. I was like, this is how we all die. On a zip line in Montenegro where we misheard some instructions.
I'll remember you, Decky.
He said it's no good to go.
That's good.
Legs down. Instructor, platform.
At the end?
Legs up.
Legs up.
Yeah.
Yes.
You ready?
Then we're doing hammer down.
Uh-huh. We're good?
Legs down. No.
All right. Bye.
See ya, man.
Did you crush your balls?
Yeah.
Go.
All right. See you, dudes.
The greatest thing about the zip line, the stopping mechanism is attached to a dumpster. I gotta say, zip lines are fun. This looked a little sketchy, but it was fun.
No screaming, nothing. I gripped it, I ripped it, and I busted all over that goddamn zip line. It was great.
On the way to Bosnia, the road was on a massive cliff edge, and not just that, the tunnels through the cliff, there was no supporting. There was like literally rocks falling down onto the road as we go towards Bosnia.
So we've crossed the border, we've moved about 4 kilometers, and they're rebuilding the road so we can get past.
Nice.
And then we kind of come over the hill and we see, for me, I see one of the most incredible cities I've ever seen in my life. It's just this huge valley with all of these houses just spread everywhere. And they're just, it's one of the most picturesque things I've ever seen.
I've been very excited about going to Sarajevo because of its history.
I didn't realize how much tragedy and bad history, I guess you could say, comes from one small city.
I was pretty excited about the historical elements of it, and hopefully learning more and being less ignorant. My eyes have been opened.
The murder of Franz Ferdinand, which causes World War I, which kills millions of people, to 30 years ago, that there was a siege, one of the longest sieges in war and just massacre in that city.
And just remnants of that everywhere. Bullet holes in most buildings, a lot of stuff still destroyed, messed up from, artillery shells, everything else. And seeing like that, but just mixed into everyday life and the way that the city has just moved on from it and continued, but all the scars are still very visible, was very fascinating.
At the age of when I was 6, like, it's just unfathomable in my head to think that there was so much war. I haven't been emotional at any of our physical things of late, any mountains, but we went to a museum and learnt some facts about some of the massacres that happened. I felt emotional then. It wasn't a thing of like I was sitting there weeping. It wasn't a moment like that, but I felt very overwhelmed with the thought of like, this wasn't that long ago. That's incredibly challenging to think that this city went through all that. A lot of people left, not everyone came back. That definitely stuck with me. One of the main characters that we met on this journey was a shopkeeper named Marshall,
who owned a wool store and wool and leather store.
We find hats, and this man has a magical hat selection.
For example, I bought this beautiful raccoon hat.
We went in there quite a few times. Decky and Jared took a little while to choose some products.
Jared and Decky, might I add, the longest, most indecisive people of my life.
A hat is a very identifying feature. It's kind of like changing your hairstyle or getting new glasses as a glasses wearer. And you need to have the perfect hat. It's not something to take lightly, so we wanted to be sure about it.
I can give you my business card, just make the picture. I have to tell you right now, they can hear you.
Yeah.
They call me.
Yeah, they'll all call you.
More real ladies than guys. I didn't even see that. Is there any ladies? No.
Any ladies?
Are you in Eastern Europe and looking for love? Our stream.
Look, you don't have to looking for love, just for the pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were heading off the next day and I got Marshall's number, so then he would be able to catch up with me later on that night after the shop had closed.
We go back to the hotel that night. We have all the stuff. It's our last night in Sarajevo, and I'm rooming with Pest, and Pest turns to me and he's like, "You won't believe this.
He's the father." And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And he shows a picture of the night that we caught up with some of his fans the first night, and then plays this message, which is Marshall saying,
Young guy next to you is my younger son. Unbelievable. That's the life.
So talk about small world. Like, we were out for dinner with these two lovely gentlemen from Bosnia. 3-4 days later, we're shopping and it's the father's shop.
I love Marshall. I think Marshall was he's the best person I've met on this entire trip outside of the team. Just very fascinating, and I want to know so much more, but at the same time, I don't think I should know. What's up, dudes? We're in Croatia. We just busted up out of Bosnia, and now we're headed to Mount Dinara, which is near a town called Kinin. It's gonna be the first mountain that we actually summit. Maybe. You don't know what it look like if you're sucking my... There she blows. That is Dinaris. Duranus. What's she called?
Daenerys Targaryen.
Durana. So basically, that's the mountain that we're supposed to be climbing tomorrow morning.
we are raring to go. We arrive in this small town called Kinin, and we look up and there's a castle.
We knew this was the starting point of our next big adventure, being Dinara.
All right, we're in Kinin. We're about to go up these steps up to the castle. Let's crack straight into it.
We climbed up this castle and we could have an overview of Dinara, which was the highest peak of Croatia, which we'll climb in the next day.
Step producer, help me, I'm stuck.
Help me.
And we noticed while we were on this, there's a extremely harsh wind.
Gas on either side.
And I mean, this shit is blowing.
Yeah, literally while we're in the castle, one of the viewers and supporters sent me a message saying there's a boo-rah coming tomorrow. And we laughed at it. We said, yeah, boo-rah, whatever. Little did we know, but boo-rah is pretty much translated to blizzard. And we got a taste of what a blizzard was when we were climbing Dinara.
Our first summit is about to happen. How's everyone feeling this morning?
Right?
Good.
I had a really good sleep.
Same here.
But what's up, guys? We just got to Dinara. We parked. We're gonna wait about 5 or 6 minutes. I'm gonna drink my Capri Sun, and then we're heading up. It's very cloudy. It's very cold. We've been told about a specifically named frigid wind that is going across Croatia right now. It's gonna be a really good time.
We get up nice and early. This time we are prepped and ready for this mountain.
We are pumped. This is going to be an easy climb. It says in the book that this is a 3-star enjoyment and a difficulty of 2. I'm very keen.
The moment we step out of the car, the wind is horrendous. It's throwing us everywhere.
We just got to Dinara. It's a little bit more harsh conditions than we had anticipated with the wind situation. In addition to it snowing, we're gonna be headed up there into the whiteness. Currently, spirits are high.
Spirits are concerned.
Concerned. Once again, we might have gotten ourselves into something we didn't know we shouldn't have.
But we're gonna stream it. Guys, where are you going?
The weather conditions for today were estimated to be 15 to 20 kilometer winds. It's bullshit! Let's go! From the get-go, it is just pounding wind. And I was all like, this is more wind than there was yesterday.
It's not really that big a deal, particularly if you've got the gear to protect yourself from it. But we actually didn't have any gloves that were good for strong winds.
We have started our journey up Dinara. The weather conditions are a little bit more than we had anticipated. There's snow, the freezing cold wind with some name that starts with a B that we had heard about. Seems to be in full effect. High winds, ice cold temperatures, but we are moving on. We're about to reach the castle right up here. Ideally there we'll be able to assess the situation further. Overall, spirits, I guess, are high. Hey guys, I think I found a shelter for a little bit to hopefully let the wind die down. Let's take shelter inside this abandoned castle. And we get to this castle, I'm like, let's take shelter in the castle. And the entire time, I'm just like, you have to yell over the wind. We're all like, we gotta get in there.
And we take refuge in the castle for a few moments because we don't know if the wind is this bad at the bottom, it's only gonna get worse as we go.
And I think we all had a little bit of like, this is kind of alarming, but we also have failed on our mountain climbing adventure. And we're all like, we're gonna kill ourselves on this mountain if we need to.
The adventurers approach the castle. Seeking shelter from the harsh conditions, they go inside.
That's a lot of wind.
How you feeling, Michael?
I feel like this is more than what was predicted by our fearless leader of 15 to 20 kilometer winds. I feel like I'm being dick slapped by the wind.
How you feeling, Jared?
It's not that bad. Reminds me of Panama City.
Shut up, Canada.
And here he comes, bringing up the rear. Paul, how are we feeling?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Okay, wow, that was... We needed something a little more involved.
What do you got there, Decky?
Some feet warmers, foot warmers. Shake them up a little bit, they'll give you heat for about 4 hours. I am a small, petite man. My appendages get cold, so I have to come prepared to try and heat them in these frigid alpine conditions.
How to survive the Croatian tundra.
And it doesn't let up though. Like sometimes you're behind some rocks, you get a break from it, but it's not like the wind is stopping ever on its own.
As we got higher up, it actually got a lot more sketch. This was definitely not 30-kilometer-hour winds.
That wind really coming down on us. We're feeling that more than we did in the valley. At certain parts, it's hard to stand. You're having to like lean fully forward, like trying to tread through it. So you have your body like angled forward because the wind, we're walking directly into it.
It was like being slapped by Zeus himself. It was like we were being pushed back by small wind children that were like, no, you may not climb our mountain.
Dinara, baby!
I was
was never really overly nervous that we weren't going to get there, but it was definitely getting to the point where it was like, holy crap, this is cold, and if we don't keep moving, it's going to be a rough trip.
From here, there's only about 350 more elevation. We're just going to go around the right hand side of this, and it's over there. We got this.
Thinking that it'd be a light day on the mountain, our intrepid adventurers did not bring full snow gear. Crampon-less and ice axeless, they have to traverse the frozen snow.
It's cold, goggles are fogged up, my mittens aren't made for this kind of weather, but this is great! The boys making the dangerous traverse. Finally out of the exposed cliff face, back into the forest for a bit. We all fueled up, we all warmed up, final push to the summit.
We got this. 1.4K, 250 up. 250, 1.4.
Nothing.
The problem with this mountain was it was inside a cloud. We had about 5 to 10 meters of visibility at best, and everything started to really freeze over. I'd never actually experienced my face mask freezing over like it did, but I could literally bend it like a piece of cardboard.
And I'm starting to panic. I can't see 5 meters in front of me. My goggles are frozen. My hands are freezing. I had to walk sideways so I'd stop getting pummeled in the face. It was the most extreme weather I've ever been in.
My goggles have fogged up and iced over, so I'm looking out just a tiny little slit.
We were in an all-out blizzard. You couldn't see 20 feet away from you. You couldn't make out the horizon from the mountain. It was a whiteout. We had come across like a tree every now and then, or like a signpost, and it would literally have like icicles like going sideways on it, but all the way across it. It was bizarre.
There's a cliff on one side of me. I really can't see, and I'm just following the map. Hopefully we're staying on course. I'm worried that I'm going to take a step directly off the edge of a cliff and not even see it.
They're doing it again, Decky.
We're doing what?
They're doing the thing when they're like, they know where they're going, but we don't know where we're going.
They were pointing up there. The summit's just up there. And we kind of walked up there. We got to this point. We stood there for about 30 seconds and then they just started, and I'm like, oh, okay, so are we going to celebrate? And they just started rushing back down. I'm like, why are we walking back down? What's happened? They're like, that's not the summit. It's over there. And they're pointing and I look and I'm like, what are you pointing at? There's nothing there. There's just snow and fog and cloud and wind. What is happening? We go down and then I really start to panic when we just start walking into these bushes, these frozen bushes, and there's no trail anywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We are so lost. There is no way we know where we're going. We're gonna get caught in a blizzard. Someone's gonna lose a limb.
We're nearing the summit of Dinara. The conditions are turned against us. We can barely even see. It's a little bit cold, but we're about 200 meters from the summit. Boys. Oh my God.
It's beautiful. Lower. Lower.
Oh my God.
Everyone say cheese. Cheese. It's like a sauna in here.
Yeah, it's getting way too warm. You know what we should do?
Open the door.
And go back outside.
They managed to get inside and it's just instant relief. And I think we all kind of sat there and there was just this split second. It wasn't necessarily, oh, we triumphed, but it was just like, what the fuck was that? Like, seriously, what was that? What did we just do? Like, that was insane.
It was a really good experience to finally get our first European summit done, and in a shitty condition. It was a good team effort.
That was an amazing feeling. We all touched the summit at the same time, and it's just pure euphoria comes over all of us. I'd say so far it's the most memorable experience.
Such an awesome feeling. I feel like I was closer to crying than Michael. Michael didn't cry this time. We had been through so much. We had failed on Krabi, and we had gotten it. We had done it. What was supposed to be an easy hike had been a nightmarish situation.
Never in my life have I experienced weather or conditions or anything like that. And I think some of us were like, we should never climb in that climate ever again.
We made it. We're inside the top of Dinara. Took a lot longer than we thought, a lot tougher than we thought, but we're here. We all made it.
You all right?
Face is a little bit frozen. Jared's hands been through some shit. Jared, how are we doing?
We're doing good. Our first summit as a team. I feel fucking amazing.
Bring your hands a bit.
And Michael's blowing.
How you doing, Michael?
Feeling really good. This is great.
We're ready to go and the door won't open. We've frozen the door shut.
Our camelbacks had frozen, and Pest had been like, I'm gonna empty mine out because I don't want to haul around a bunch of ice or liquid, because like the tube had frozen, but the liquid is still liquid in his backpack. So he dumps it out of the door, we shut the door, we talk. Little do we know, he froze the door shut.
Okay, there's a someone poured water on the door, and
we're trapped inside.
There's a big pole here. Well, if there's a place to be stuck.
Excuse me. Did someone fart?
Yeah, I did. Traps us in and then he farts.
Excuse me.
You think they would have put a fucking handle on the inside of this thing?
And there's no door handle on the inside, which makes no sense. Michael cuts his hand trying to get it open. Everybody takes a turn trying to get it open.
Maybe someone will hear us.
Don't kick it.
And there was a moment of, well, I wouldn't say a complete moment of panic, but there was a moment of like, we're gonna have to fucking sleep in this like 1 by 1 meter cabin, the four of us.
Think about what Pest would be saying if one of us don't know
All right, this might break the GoPro.
Oh, dude. With some of Jared's intuition and a GoPro mount, he's kicking the door, we got it back open. And whilst it was like, yay, we got it open, and we're like, oh no, we have to go back outside.
We're free! We're free! Oh no, get back inside! Nowhere to go but down!
And we're off, we're going back down. Same conditions as it was going up. We do that for about 30 minutes, and then things start to kind of clear up.
All the winds died, the sun popped out. It was like we had appeased the gods. The Bura had been satisfied. It had challenged us, but it didn't beat us.
So if you enjoyed this video and you want to support us in different ways, head to Patreon. Patreon, where you can find
So much content.
so much content. For example,
See our ass.
You want to see Michael naked on top of a mountain? Go to Patreon.
that's probably going to happen. So head to our Patreon. You'll find heaps of behind the scenes footage. You'll be able to do VIP chats with us monthly and a whole bunch more. But most of all, thank you for everyone for watching and supporting. We very much appreciate it. And we hope you got something out of this, because we got a lot out of this. It was experience. It was to know what not to do when climbing a mountain.
Our first summit.
And I think we'll get someone else in charge of reading the weather next time.